Welcome back to the dojo, guys. I'm Steve. This is Ninjaboy Z Gaming, and you can see our setup. Got the, I don't know how to turn that off. So tonight, real quick blurb, we're going to be doing a two-part stream. I'm going to be breaking down the season update notes for the ground transit. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's see if I can get the right window up here. All right. So, Call of Duty has an amazing way of just repeating itself. And I will say this, I'm guilty of, I'm interested to see more. Not only have they used the same maps and made them a little bit better, I am also a creature of habit when I go to restaurants. If I see something that's buffalo or barbecue, and I've tried it before and I love it, I'm going to order it again. So maybe Call of Duty has some kind of potion, because we all talk shit, but at the same time it's the #1 played game. Let's pull up some stats on that. Brittany's my stat girl. Bad mommy, we'll look into that. But let's be honest. Most of the world is playing this game. So I look at this and say, okay, you did the train in 50 off the bat. For the stats, I asked her to tune in. It's not gameplay. We're doing straight commentary. So, Bad Mommy, you just unlocked? I'm going to be booging with her later tonight. Woo! All right. Going back into the... So, Warzone Classified Arms Reloaded. If you remember from Verdansk, the map that everyone hated, and then we went to Caldera, and then everyone loved Verdansk again. I'm not part of that group. I've equally disliked and liked both maps. I wouldn't mind playing both of them, like Apex does or Fortnite. And you've heard me say that. Stone Mountain's mentioned it. JGod, at least the two big streamers that I watch when they do these breakdowns. And they've really kind of inspired me to kind of do my own. And today, this is really coming from me. So if you call me a copycat or say that means that great minds think alike, and that would be a very good compliment, because I didn't get to see their breakdown. In fact, I saw the intro to JGod's breakdown, and Jiraiya in the car told me, Dad, turn this off. He's not even playing the game. He's just talking about it. So my 7-year-old called me a mega nerd. Not even saying mega nerd, but that's okay. All right, so let's move right into the patch notes, guys. Season 3 Reloaded launch. So we did this last time for the Monarch with the monsters. So May 25th, Battle Royale. We'll go into details on this. All thumbs down. You know, some people still had fun with it. We even did a stream right before it went away of trying to drive a chopper into Kong's unit. So we had some fun with that. Grown men doing grown things, I guess. All right, so June 2nd, so that's right around the corner. We're going to have another buff update, if you will. Champions of Caldera. So that's not released yet. Okay, I did hear about Champions of Caldera just through the grapevine of my group chats, or what I've kind of very minimal heard today. And my understanding, again, we're going to read about that, though, is that you drop with your loadout, and it's a inner closing circle. This is JGod, thank you for breaking it down for us cavemen. You start with your loadout, and it's not a zone. The circle just gradually comes in. And mini Royale is what we could use on this. So hopefully they do that in the near future. Not a lot of changes to Rebirth until mid-June. And that's our big cup of tea. But maybe we need to change it up. So June 9th, it looks like another one. So I think they've got phases already in here. And, you know, I'm not someone that has like computer tech background or coding. They probably already know what needs to be tweaked, but they need to see a little bit more on the larger scale. So in between these weeks, they're going to do those kind of estimated updates, if you will. And, you know, I've heard a lot of like, why are they doing so many updates in such a small span of time? And the big reason for that is that they don't always have it right. And I'll pause there. Eddie, thank you for the like and share, brother. What's going on? What do we have for dinner, my man? I'm going to get caught up in the comments in just a minute. Appreciate the guys with the alerts and stuff. I didn't turn them off because I want to see the love. Okay. So going back to just, again, this is like my food of thought of thinking in this and now being in the tech world, right, is they have an idea of, what's working and what's not. They need to see it on a greater scale. And then there may be something that it's like, oh, maybe we don't need to tweak that. Or maybe we do need to tweak this a little bit more. Or maybe this is what we thought wasn't going to work out. Because Warzone is fucked now. I feel like that, dude. Okay, let's talk about that for a minute, Eddie, because that's a good point. I feel like Warzone has been at certain times has been grasping for straws, right? Where they're on their way out as far as the game, and the update. I don't even know if Brittany remembers this, but sitting on the couch, probably doesn't even care or listen. But I was like, I need a break from Warzone. Like, I need to, and I've told you this, Eddie, and you go, you take a 1-day break or 2 days, and I'm back, right? I think a lot of it too is the people that we play with, and my circle is very small circled as far as other games that they want to play, or Halo versus I don't have that yet, and Los was down to play PUBG for a little bit, and I couldn't really, after the training I really couldn't even find myself going back to that. But I do want to make that a part of myself, is putting myself out there and trying newer stuff. So having that said, going back to what I was saying as far, and yes, Eddie makes a good point. Warzone has had a ton of things that are broken where it's made me so angry where I'm like, I'm not having fun anymore playing this game. And, as funny as I want to kind of talk to Darth when we start our podcast on this, is a little bit more in depth, is I've been playing this. Modern Warfare came out. Modern Warfare, I was a little late to the online game, but when I came, it was like, oh man, this is a whole new way to compete. Eddie and I went to grade school together all the way and graduated together, so he can tell you firsthand how competitive I am, whether it's reading a goddamn book or playing on the damn field. Same applies to the video games, right? So I want to compete, and that's what makes the Battle Royale a whole new level. Like, I still do, like, at lunchtime, and maybe I could probably stream it here or there, but I still play multiplayer. And primarily it's two things now, but one is to upgrade the guns, but two, I realized, like, when I stopped playing multiplayer, my game kind of went to shit. And Darth, blew up, and he started playing a lot more Halo. And I think that has a lot to do, like, Darth is already a good player, but his game significantly improved, from throwing the knives to movement. And again, I think that's the close combat multiplayer, training or exercise, if you will. So if you feel like you're not good at the game or you want to get better at the game, I highly suggest playing multiplayer or playing in modes where you get a lot of playtime. And we're going to talk about that because I did do a little bit of cheating and reading through some of the notes. All right, so back into it. Not much change from June 2nd to 9th. We have some pretty big updates in Rebirth, so it looks like. So it's Resurgent Solos, Duo Trios, Payload. Okay, they're bringing back Payload. And Blood Money. So I think that's what is it? The Plunder of Rebirth. Not a big fan of it, but hey, I know some people, or another. That's another really, actually, just a good segue. That's another good mode to play to level yourself up and to give you some more PT time on that playtime. And then lastly, they close it out with Battle Royale Solos, Plunder, Resurgence. So not a whole lot is going on from, like, the Monarchs, but I think it's cool that they do this and they let us know, and then that we know that some updates are going to happen. All right, let's go down in the modes in a little bit. So Champions of Caldera. This is something that I will definitely play. Again, I really appreciate some of the messages or even comments. Hey, play more solos. We like to hear your wacky thoughts. I think that was one of the comments. Or, like, I like how, just the content. That's why I like to do it. That's why I stream. It's really become a craft. So hearing that, and I want to deliver more of that, but more importantly, I want to hear your guys' feedback, even if it's shit. So let me know. All right, so we'll just briefly read through this. So Champion of Caldera this year could arguably be a strong one for Warzone solo players, right? With Rebirth Resurgent Solos being a fast-paced variant of the traditional Battle Royale free-for-all, and Caldera Clash being an awesome way to level up weapons. So this is kind of good because I feel like this, your hardcore solo people, I do feel a little bad because you guys are the true Battle Royale battlers. A big person I think about is Almo, and he's good at it, right? Almo streams on Twitch. Take a look at him. He's always playing Warzone solos, and if he's not, then he's with the squads. I particularly like playing with teammates, even though it's multiplayer. It's just not. I'll just mute the whole squad. It's not. I've never even liked it back then. Like once in a while, it's fun to get toxic in the group. Um, but yeah. Anywho, we need more love in this world, right? So with that being said, it's just nice to have friends and be able to shoot the shit. Having said that, though, I will tell the guys like, hey, give me an hour, always before because we go pretty late, to kind of get at least a power hour in with Warzone solos. I definitely want to do. I wish we did more of the island, and then I also definitely want to do more or start doing more Caldera. All right. This mode will feature 150 maximum players and a single continuously closing circle in a battle royale. So that was kind of what Jay God said is instead of zones where it's like doot doot doot, it's just gonna be closing in. Note here though is 150 maximum players. Keep an eye on that because there's gonna be some changes on some of the other modes. That's kind of crazy. All operators will. Oh, I didn't read this last paragraph though. All operators will drop with their custom loadouts. Cool. It's kind of like a plunder thing. A gas mask and a single redeploy extraction token. Okay, that's a new update too, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. The item pool is slightly altered to emphasize equipment not normally found in loadouts and rare weapons. Collect cash to visit. Okay, I like that. I like that. And extraction token. So there's different tokens. From my understanding, is there's a redeploy token, which you don't go to the gulag, which is this. You'll go straight into a like redeployment, but your timer doesn't start. You just got to get that token. You got to find another token within the map. Then you have a gulag token, right? So it gives you could already have a gulag, or maybe the gulags don't exist. I'm not sure how they did it. I don't think that's the case, but you get like a second gulag. I think the tokens are awesome. They talk about it a little bit later about more time to play. Takes me back to the first battle royale that I really ever played consistently, if you will. It's not Fortnite. It was Black Ops Blackout. And it really did. It was kind of addicting. Like, it was like, oh man, this is different. And I really like search and destroy. So I know that turned off a lot of people. Were like, no, we're going straight back into, multiplayer. But Blackout was one of its true battle royales where, and I understand like Fortnite was kind of like this when it first started, and PUBG, where once you died, that's it. There was no rebuys, there was no redeployment, no jailbreaks. That was it. And a lot of players just left the game, right? But if you're playing with friends, you're not going to leave the game. And that game, if you die at the beginning, that game, average time game is 25 minutes. So that's 20 to 25 minutes sitting there. You don't get better by doing that. Typically, if you're watching, it depends on who you're viewing, I guess. I'll take that back. But for the most part, is you need to get the thumbs, you need to get the mouse, boys and mamas, you need the movement. So with that being said, I think the redeployment, yes, we're moving away. It's a bit of a, how do you say this? Like a modification to Battle Royale, but it's still, you're eliminating players as they go, and everyone has the same amount of chances, right? So I think that, if an unlucky play happens, you get kind of redemption. I'm all about redemption. So, all right. Moving on to the gameplay. So this really hurts my heart. I saw it in a brief comment right before going live on Stone Mountain's page. Is they nerfed one of the big things. I mean, we'll get to it in a minute, but they nerfed the stims, and that's really the only secondary that I'm using as far as lethals. So or tacticals, if you will. Lethals are the knives. So before we jump into many changes outlined below, we want to share the key pillars that we will have focus on, all right? So more counters. I like this, so we're going to talk about this. There are still some very powerful mechanics in Warzone we need to provide. Counterplay and measures. I really like thinking outside the box, utilizing UAV when you need to, taking on, if you notice towards the end of the game, I'm always trying to look for that big game bounty, because if we kill it, it's not, or it's a one tier below advanced. So even if you're ghosted, it'll show you on the map, or ping you at least. So again, it's all strategy, and that plays a lot into the gameplay at the end of play. You can be cracked out of your mind and play good, but if you get outsmarted or outpositioned, it's game over. So more movement, and speaking of which, more movement, player rotation opportunities are core to the Warzone experience, and we'll see how much our players love advanced movement techniques. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, and then more playtime, what we were just talking about. Simply put, more playtime, less time spectating. Warzone has always been a leader in second chances. Kind of play on words there. Mechanics, and we wanted to further develop their aspect of Warzone to improve the chances. I think this is great for more people that are coming into the game. Some of the kids that are getting a little bit older, right, that are wanting to try to play and they need to level up those guns. Give them a chance to do that. Don't discourage them away because they didn't start again in 2020. You believe that? We're literally a week away from being midway through 2022. This game will be 3 years old at the end, well, it's 2.5 years old, I guess, because it came out in, I want to say, October of 2020. But regardless of the fact, think about a game that you've played. Tell me in the chat, hopefully Eddie's still with us, that you played for 3 years in a row. That's a disc game, right? Maybe PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, you're starting to play online, and, those games were updating every year. You have your Modern Warfare, then you have Modern Warfare 2, then Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Modern Warfare, and then they reset the button. Now we're doing I swear I was like, I think I have a disc that says Modern Warfare 2, but anyways, the recycle of the recycle is fine. That doesn't bother me too much. But having said that, the game speaks for itself. I will eat crow in just slightly in saying that they've delivered on a consistent audience. Resident Evil, that's a good point, but think of how old that game is, right? And Resident Evil has a lot of tiers to it. But absolutely, I would play the original Resident Evil right now if I had it. I understand there's like an Oculus one, but that's a great point. But those are older games, right? Those are older games, and maybe we didn't have a ton of access to a bunch of games. We have a ton of access to a ton of games, other Battle Royale games. And you still find some of the people, like even Tim the Tap Man. Stone Mountain's been pretty consistent with it, and he's a really good dude and has a really good outlook on life, so he doesn't let the small things sweat. But like a lot of people have left the game, but they come back. And I think that, in saying that, it speaks to them being the Jordan, the Nike, the top tier of video games. And I think they owe that. So, all right, that being said, I'm like, on Warzone, like, hey, sponsor me. All right, this is kind of interesting. I right off the bat, I'm like, Serpent perk reduces incoming damage if a player is sprinting. I feel like this is one that's going to win me over once I see it, but it's kind of like gung-ho where I've never really noticed anything on that as a change. It also isn't my style of play. I'm more of like a aggress and then sit and lurk, assess situation. I'm all down for pushing, but so let's kind of like read the box here. We're bringing in this new perk from Vanguard that some of our players may already be familiar with, which I am from when they say that means multiplayer. Our internal play test highlighted the counter to ranged engagements, especially in large open spaces, while still beneficial in smaller spaces. Serpentine creates, and I hope I'm saying that, Serpentine creates a buffer between finding cover, and it provides a boon to players that rotate often in their engagements. The attacking player receives clear feedback that their target countered their incoming shots with the Serpentine icon being. Okay, so it's kind of like it's a little mix of high alert and battle hardened. Paint a scenario, right? So I think they do the same thing. No, I think they do that in a different one. But so say like when we have to run across the damn field to coming from Stronghold, right? And there's people holding us. If you have that and you're sprinting, it reduces. So it gives you that chance to get out of there. How big of a chance? I'd like to see. I mean, if it's crazy, like I'm definitely gonna use it. I just don't. Oh, and this is cool. So I'll be able to see this. I'm not gonna jump to this. I'm also a creature of habit, right? So I'm already used to certain things that I know. Street Fighter, I just saw that. That's a really good one. Yep, Dry and I still play that. But again, to my point, older game, right? Before before that. At least I'm thinking of PlayStation or N64, Super NES, and with disc, I would say Resident Evil. But okay, back to what I was saying. New lootable perks. Few things on this. So Servant Time, I think is cool. That's a good update because you get to try it out, right? And hopefully they do a bigger splash of that out there. So you really get to see it and get to feel it and say, hey, yeah, this is an advantage, or you know what, it's kind of sucky and it's not going to go in my loadout. I don't like this. And I wish that, you know, maybe Serpentine, or they just, maybe I'm the only one that feels that this is just so broken. But the tracker is, man, like, it's too long of a trail. In fact, I think they should get rid of it entirely. Get rid of it entirely. Or put it on, do tracker like on a freaking, on the little map. But the red feet, it just drives me up the wall, especially when you're getting third-partied. Gears of War. No, and so that's one I really wish, I think they did make a movie of it. That was another one, I think. Did that ever come to PlayStation, or was that an Xbox-only game as well? That's a really good call-out, Eddie. And you should join our podcast. I mean it, man. I specifically brought you up when I was just shooting the shit with Darth on, just enhancing our stream and making it better. But okay, let me stay focused here. So yeah, again, my pet peeve on tracker is I just don't like it. And maybe it's just me. I've even asked like around, and everyone's like, oh yeah, it's got. Or I've heard the opposite. It's like, oh, it's got to have. I have that in my. And it's like, yeah, you're so reliable, man. And yeah, just not for me. Not for me. Okay. And then they kind of talk about. We've been really happy with the response to perks. This was, and I agree too. That I think no one's really complained about this ground loot. And even when I was playing the big map, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is kind of cool. This is kind of cool. Xbox exclusive. Yeah, that's what I thought. And that's probably why, or not. That's exactly why I didn't play it, and why I didn't. I don't hate on Halo. I just never got to play Halo because I've always been a PlayStation family. I came real close when I was an adult, and I said, when I was an adult, I was like in my 20s, not an adult yet, but thought I was. And I said, I'm going to buy, I only play one game. I'm going to just get the Xbox. I'm going to try Halo. I'm going to try some other, because there are other games that I could play on it. And I never really got to play Halo. And then I don't know what happened, but PlayStation brought me back in. I'll have to make a mental thought of that. But I remember it was like, I think it was PlayStation 3 moving on to oh my gosh, that's what happened. So it was actually one of the coolest things ever. We will take a break and talk about this for a minute. So she's probably signed off now, but thank you for showing love. Big shout out to the 50-star again. So when PlayStation 3, her doing, my wife, beautiful wife, the baddest mommy on the planet, when PlayStation 3 was fizzing out and all PlayStation 3 games were going to stop on that. I wouldn't say all, but majority of them. And PlayStation 4 was taken off. That's when I was like, you know what? This is a good time to just get an Xbox, because I've done all the PlayStation games, and Xbox still has the Warzone game, which is the only game I play. Literally, I would buy one game a year, and it was to play with the boys and multiplayer, right? And Brittany surprised me with a PlayStation 4 video game. Very clever. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, you know what I'll do? I'll return this to GameStop, and I'll get an Xbox, and I'll get an Xbox game, and it'll be fine. And she was like, and she's like, what? And I was like, oh, this is a PlayStation 4 game. Oh, that's what it was like later. She's like, why aren't you playing your game? And I was like, well, I would love to, but this is a PlayStation 4 game, and I only have PlayStation 3. So, is the PlayStation 4 that old? All right, stay focused, Steve. Anyways, she busts out the PlayStation 4. She bought me the PlayStation 4 and the thing. She didn't give me the bundle. That's okay, though. But she didn't know what the bundle was. But I had the game. I had the thing. And this is the really sad part is, so, gosh, all right, nope, we're Googling this. Or binging it. When did PS4 release? Oh, I actually spelled release right. November 15th, 2013. My goodness, so it's that old. And my birthday is in early November, so, and that's what's kind of cool too, is like a birthday gift to myself with the Call of Duty games being released at that time. Modern Warfare 2 was gonna, well, I think they moved it, they kind of bumped it up to October. I think it's end of October now. It's still fine. It used to be on my birthday, like it was either the 4th or the 5th. So remember the 5th of November. Anywho, yeah, PlayStation 4, I have one right here. We're playing on the PlayStation 5. We just all in on PlayStation family. But yeah, it was just too sentimental, right? And I was like, no, this is too much. Like, way too. Love her. She wasn't even my wife then. She's just, how cool. Oh, what a girlfriend, right? What a girlfriend. I think a fiance at the time. Wait, no, 2013. We were married. So almost caught myself there. But I think we got a PlayStation 3 together. But having said that, that is why I never went to the Xbox family. Long story, but I think it should be recorded live. So that's also going to YouTube. Okay, moving back to what they were saying is we've expanded the list alongside with the Serpentine. I hope I'm saying that right. Serpentine perk. We're also bringing all of them to Rebirth Island. Very cool. I don't remember if they totally had that in Rebirth the first time. So someone in the chat, maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong. But, okay. Radar Jammer, I think this is super cool. They have this in multiplayer, which is a pain in the ass because I never think about using it. But when I get my UAV, I'm like, damn it, bro. Why are you running the Radar Jammer? To piss me off when I'm playing. So this will be huge. So, and it can be portable, to my understanding. So, players can deploy the field, an upgrade scrambler as attack map, enemy players to prevent airborne kill streaks from being used in the localized areas. So, I think that's awesome. I'm wondering if this even affects, air strikes. It just says airborne kill streaks. So, yeah, maybe, not sure. Okay, I want to make sure. Okay, all maps and modes. Okay, so this is kind of just like a nerf has effective radius of 125 meters. Okay, so but it's talking about Caldera. So, all right, moving on from this. Oh yeah, it can be attached to vehicles and become more mobile. So it's talking about the islands, talking about Caldera, and susceptible to being hacked. Or right above here, this is what it being put by a player with an engineer perk. So if he has an engineer perk, it's not going to affect them. So that's how I'm reading that. So that's pretty cool. Engineer that's another one where it's like I don't really need to see it. It's nice to see. The claymores don't do enough damage. Like you could slide past them. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. But all right, staying focused here. I wanted to do this in under 30 minutes, and we're a minute shy. All right, new lootable loadout drop markers. So Caldera mode, ground loot now includes a rare chance to spawn a loadout drop marker. So I need a little bit more clarity on this. So once players have been to the gulag, it can often be challenging to get back into rotation to stand a chance of going on to win. We wanted to give players that rare chance of striking it lucky, okay, and finding a way to counter a previous loss that gets them back into the game. New lootable loadout drop markers. So I'm going to have to, I need to see a visual of that. But to me, what it sounds like is they're going to do more drops of the loadouts. New lootable loadout drop markers. So maybe it just gives you better guns? It's loadout drop marker. Like I said, I need to see a visual on that. Maybe definitely check out JGod or Stone Mountain. They're pretty good at breaking this down. Stone Mountain even goes to JGod. Totally endorse them. Not like it matters for me, right? Little old me. Okay. Movement. Oh, this is it. So high value loot zones. These zones are represented on the TAC map. Very appropriate dollar signs provide the best looting opportunities. Oh, enjoyed seeing it. Okay. Looting. New underground transit. Okay, so we're talking about this and they're talking about the map. So we will spend a whole nother thing. This is just kind of the updates. But the new underground transit system, new fast travel system within 14 access points. I think they're just mini-map by a silver vault door symbol. A lighting system will provide intel to help navigate players. I think they're just gonna mimic exactly what the last in Vanguard they have. The crazy thing is you can take this into the gas, so you need to be aware of where you're going or conscious if you what direction you're going. For example, let's say docks, runway, and beachhead, and you're over here by docks and the gas is coming in this way, right? You're gonna have to go to here. Oh, it's a two-way. Ooh. So yeah, again, what if you go this way? You're gonna hit the gas, and we have died on that and got really high views on YouTube for NBZ bloopers. So really cool. It looks like they added even more because it was like a circle that they had on Verdansk, and this one multiple options in which ways. So this is gonna be kind of cool. And again, it adds a entire it could change your direction entirely on the map, and you have to. It's another thing to be aware of down there. Watch out for the tunnels, kind of thing. So I like it. Any nooks, cracks, and crannies, you have to be aware of. I'm all for it. New lootable speed boost, power up. Okay, so this is kind of you notice we didn't play it a whole lot, but when you looted the Monarch, there was like the M, and as soon as you got it, it was almost like doing a stim, and you had that movement speed. And again, we'll get to that. I know that's been buffed. But we've added a speed boost up from Clash into Core Battle Royale, as we like the advanced movement plays that enables. It was very short though, from what I remember. But if I was in a battle and I had a crate by me and I was able to get that, it was usable. I mean, but it also, I think it replated me. So this power book is activated immediately upon pickup. Just use temporary speed boost wisely. Yep. Okay, so it's temporary, and I don't think it replates. Can't imagine that would be too much. But it can help. It can help. It's like using a stem. We know that's help. Maybe it'll help regenerate your health. If I overread that. All right. Rebirth Island mode. So new occupational scan public event. So except for all right, any players standing or crouching while the scan takes place will have their location exposed on the attack map for all those to see. Really? Players will be informed to go prone prior to the sweep. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So let's read the box here. Movement represents an opportunity for memorable engagement encounters with Occupation Scan. We want to develop a public event where movement, or lack of therefore, is the core to the experience. So they're kind of helping the rats out here, which I can get a bit of ratatouille. Tactical positioning, I like to call it, right? And I'm the first one to call someone out when they do it to me. But with that being said, I there's a balance here, and I'm liking this. I'm liking this. So the public event really brings lethals and tacticals like gas grenades and Molotovs into consideration. You can use them to flush enemies out of hiding to expose on the map. All right. So again, they kind of play on words here, so I may not be understanding it entirely, but I think they're helping out the rats, and then also speed players. So okay, increased down movement speed. Increased the speed at which a player moves while in the down state. Oh, interesting. This is the first I read that, and I just skimmed through this. This is what we're going to get to in just a minute. So we felt the down movement speed needed a review primarily to allow players who get down a chance to get themselves a safer space to allow to revive. Okay. And we'll end it here. I know there's some others, but we ran way over time. I'm about 5 minutes over. And that's my profession, is to keep an eye on that clock. Stim adjustments, all maps and modes in season. Slide modifier has been reduced. And my understanding is they nerfed the entire speed of the stim. I still will need stims at end of play because they're ideal. I think I would have had way more wins in Verdansk if I had played stims. As kind of a end of loadout, I was more of a stun. This also helps, though, with me, Steve, who's creature of habit, to go outside of my comfort zone and start using potentially tactical scan grenades. The ones where it gives the thermal reading of the players. Now, real quick, I'll end it on this. Is my style of play isn't really like that. It might help me be a little bit more aggressive, which I don't mind working on. I still find more value in having stuns, but I think with stims early on, Darth or I could be a duo, or Los be a duo in using stuns and tactical scans. I don't know why I can't think of the name of the damn flash reads. I can't think of the goddamn name. But that being said, oh, this is another crazy update too on the stems. But yeah, again, it'll help us start using other things because this has been and they talk about this. It's been a highly used, and they're happy that it was, but they felt that it needed to be buffed. They said here in that's kind of a summary of this. So this is kind of interesting because I don't really feel that this was a thing, but I don't think I used it ever really to this degree. Maybe I did and didn't even notice it. If a player receives weapon damage, the healing effect will be interrupted. Okay. The previous mechanic allowed players to repeatedly heal themselves while actively taking damage, which is not the intent of this tool. So they let that go for a long time. Alex, what's going on, my man? They let that go for a long time. Alex, were you a stim guy? Is that in your tactical? So they nerfed the shit out of the stim. It's forcing. I'll say this in closing. The game I've always used playing Modern Warfare is I would go with like the SCAR or like the M16 and a double barrel shotgun or like a pump shotgun in multiplayer, right? Before the battle royales came out. And then I remember trying to go, and the SCAR was awful. Like it's a fire hose. It never even became relevant in the game, which is really sad because I was waiting for like maybe they'll bring the SCAR to fruition. Never happened. But what they do is and it's a double-edged blade, is they take guns and they cycle them through. My understanding is the STG is killing it right now. You get the boogie bomb. Jeremy, thank you for the 100 stars, man. I love you too. So, Darth, I was just talking about you, is they nerfed our stims. I think we have to use this as a end game, right? So second loadout. What about third loadout? Second or third loadout, get the stims. But in the early game, you start, like maybe you run the tactical where it lights them up. I can't believe I can't remember the name of that. Someone in the chat tell me. It's lethal scan grenades. That's not scan grenades. Anywho, it scans them. It should be called scan grenades. The heat thermals or whatever. And then someone else uses stuns. Because two things on the scan. The scan grenades are good. And when they've used them when it's not me using them, I'm appreciative of them because I know they are. But they typically know that you're coming too, right? But if you can do that and partner with a stun or a flash, I mean, that's a pretty good duo. All right. I'm going to end it there. There's more to go. We're going to talk about some of the underground train system transit once we got some gameplay in. And I really enjoyed doing this. Thank you guys. We have like averaging about 5 or 6 people, so you guys hung around for the whole 40 minutes. Again, this is going up on YouTube. We're going to have it on Twitch. Appreciate you. I'm actually going to go live again and do maybe a power hour of checking out the new maps. Hopefully some of the boys are still on. I know the soccer boys were hitting me up. I'm not sure if Darth can get on later. Alex, I'm looking to lobby up. So appreciate you guys again. Ninjaboy Gaming, we're signing off. Thanks for hanging out for the season updates.